Hey there, welcome back to Midlife and Glowing. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Nicole. And today we're diving into a topic that hits home for so many of us, brain health, specifically in honor of World Alzheimer's Month this September.
This is such an important conversation, and if you've ever found yourself forgetting names, walking into a room and wondering why, or feeling like your brain is in a fog, you are so not alone.
Not alone at all. In fact, 40 to 60% of perimenopausal women experience brain fog, memory impairment, and reduced cognitive endurance.
These changes can be alarming, but they can also be a wake-up call.
Yes, and what we want you to take away from today's episode is this. There are simple, powerful things you can do starting right now to support your brain and reduce your long-term risk. It's never too early or too late to make your brain a priority. When these mild senior moments, so to speak, or forgetful moments become more frequent, feel more noticeable, or slowly get worse over time, we call it mild cognitive impairment. And this is when memory or thinking skills decline more than we'd expect with normal aging, but not enough to seriously disrupt daily life. For midlife women, mild cognitive impairments can increase risk of dementia by 60 to 80%. So it is something that's important to take seriously and get ahead of. Let's start with this. Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia and accounts for about 60 to 80% of all dementia cases. It's more common in women. In fact, nearly 2/3 of all Alzheimer's cases are in women. One big reason? Estrogen. It's neuroprotective, meaning it actually helps keep your brain healthy. So when estrogen drops during perimenopause and menopause, it can impact memory, mood, and cognitive performance. The other factor here is related to your blood sugar. Alzheimer's is actually referred to as type 3 diabetes. It's insulin resistance in your brain. And we've talked a lot on this podcast about the fact that as estrogen drops in perimenopause, we become more insulin resistant. So estrogen is not just neuroprotective, it supports healthy blood sugar and insulin regulation. So as your estrogen levels drop, the increase in insulin resistance can impact more than just your metabolism, it can impact your brain too.
And let's be real, brain fog is one of the most frustrating symptoms of this season. You know your brain still works, but it just feels like a little slow or glitchy, and that can feel really scary.
Yeah, but here's the difference. Brain fog in perimenopause is often a temporary, reversible symptom tied to hormone shifts, poor sleep, blood sugar imbalance, or stress. Alzheimer's and cognitive decline are more long-term progressive issues. The good news is that taking care of your brain now helps with both.
Okay, so let's talk about what actually supports your brain health, starting with your food.
Right. When it comes to nutrition for brain health, the goal is to fuel and protect your brain cells for the long haul. So healthy fats are a big one. Your brain is nearly 60% fat by weight, so it thrives on anti-inflammatory fats like olives, olive oil, avocado, as well as omega-3 fats from foods like salmon, sardines, walnuts, chia and flax seeds. These fats help keep cell membranes flexible and support communication between brain cells. There's also some interesting research around medium chain triglycerides, or MCTs. That's the type of fat found in coconut oil and concentrated MCT oil. Your body can convert MCTs into ketones, which are an alternative fuel source for the brain. And this is especially relevant because in Alzheimer's disease, again, the brain's ability to use glucose for energy can be impaired since there's more insulin resistance there. Ketones from MCTs may help bridge that energy gap and support better brain function. Now, more research is needed, but some studies have shown improvements in memory and cognition in certain individuals when MCTs are added to the diet. You can get MCTs naturally from coconut products or in a more concentrated form as MCT oil that you can add to smoothies or coffee. Antioxidants are another key nutrition player. They help protect brain tissue from oxidative stress, so basically the wear and tear from normal metabolism and environmental factors. Foods rich in anthocyanins, which are the pigments that give blueberries, blackberries, and purple grapes their color, have been shown to support memory and learning. Other polyphenols and flavonoids in things like green tea, dark chocolate, coffee, extra virgin olive oil, turmeric, and colorful vegetables can help reduce inflammation and improve blood flow to the brain. Turmeric in particular, turmeric's active compound called curcumin, has been shown in research to calm inflammation, protect brain cells, and some research shows it can even help clear amyloid plaques that are linked to Alzheimer's disease. Turmeric itself isn't very bioavailable, so for best absorption, it's best to pair turmeric with black pepper and a healthy fat if you're trying to get it through your diet, through your food. Or check with your healthcare provider to see if a curcumin supplement is a good fit if you're really interested in extra anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and brain support. And then when it comes to nutrition for brain health, we cannot forget about blood sugar balance. Large spikes and crashes can be stressful for brain cells. Pairing healthy complex carbs with protein or healthy fats helps keep energy steady for both your body and your brain. Remember, we're more insulin resistant in this stage of life, and Alzheimer's is insulin resistance in the brain. So focusing on keeping your blood sugar stable is great for your body and your brain and your mood and your energy and on and on. It's really is crucial. And of course, that means to cut way back on the processed stuff. So trans fats, refined sugar, and artificial additives can increase inflammation in the brain, and that's been linked to higher Alzheimer's risk.
When we think about exercise, we usually focus on its impact on our physical strength or weight, but it's actually one of the most powerful tools we have for protecting our brain health.
Yes, regular movement increases blood flow to the brain, delivers oxygen and nutrients, and even boosts the production of something called BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's basically like Miracle-Gro for your brain cells. BDNF helps build new neurons, strengthens neural connections, and improves memory and learning.
And you don't have to be running marathons. In fact, steady walking, strength training, and low-impact movement like yoga or Pilates are fantastic for midlife brains. Walking outside has even been shown to support the part of your brain that's linked to your memory.
Absolutely. We've all heard the 10,000 steps a day rule, but I also want to share that a new large review published in The Lancet shows that just 7,000 steps a day can deliver major health benefits. Compared to people who averaged only 2,000 steps a day, those hitting 7,000 steps had a 38% lower risk of dementia, a 25% lower risk of cardiovascular disease, 28% fewer falls, and nearly a 50% lower risk of early death. So you don't have to hit a perfect 10,000 to see really meaningful benefits, but consistent daily movement really does protect your brain, heart, and overall longevity, so that is the key. Plus, strength training is a win-win. It boosts muscle mass, metabolism, and insulin sensitivity, and it improves executive function and memory too. So talk about multitasking.
Well, multitasking is my favorite. I specialize in it. Okay, so let's not forget, movement also lowers inflammation and stress hormones, both of which are major contributors to cognitive decline when left unchecked.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so what about sleep? How does sleep impact brain health and Alzheimer's risk?
Your brain detoxes during deep sleep, literally. In your brain, it's called the glymphatic system, and it flushes out waste while you rest. So when sleep is poor or disrupted, especially deep sleep, toxins can build up in the brain.
Yeah, so sleep is not just about beauty rest, it's brain preservation.
Yeah.
That's why we talk about malt taping, magnesium, blood sugar balance, and light exposure. It all ties into circadian rhythm and ultimately better rest.
Yep. And research shows that both the quality and quantity of your sleep have a big impact on your long-term risk for dementia. When it comes to hours, most adults need 7 to 9 hours a night. Consistently getting less than 6 hours has been linked in multiple studies to a higher risk of cognitive decline. And it's not just about one bad night here or there, it's the cumulative effect of chronic sleep loss that adds up.
And if there's one brain-boosting habit we'll never stop talking about, it's sleep. And that's because so much happens in your brain while you sleep.
Exactly. Think of sleep as your brain's nightly maintenance shift. During deep sleep or slow wave sleep, your glymphatic system kicks in. Again, that's the brain's detox system. It flushes out waste, including amyloid beta, which is one of the proteins linked to Alzheimer's. If you're regularly shortchanging deep sleep, you're giving your brain less time to take out the trash. And if you remember from our data tracking episode, deep sleep tends to be associated with the first half of the night of sleep. So it really is ideal if you can be sleeping by 10 p.m. to take advantage of your deep sleep stages.
Isn't that wild? While you're sleeping, your brain is literally clearing out gunk that builds up during the day. No wonder poor sleep has been linked to faster brain aging.
Yes. And then REM sleep is also critical. This is when we consolidate memories, process emotions, and support learning. Missing out on enough REM sleep over time can affect mood, mental clarity, and cognitive resilience. This is typically more prevalent in the second half of the night, as we've discussed. But in perimenopause, sleep can get tricky. Hormone changes can disrupt sleep, especially with things like night sweats, cortisol spikes, or waking up more to go to the bathroom. So if your sleep is struggling, start with small shifts. Keep your room cool. Block blue light before bed. See if taking magnesium is appropriate for you. Use mouth tape. Use a PEMF mat or grounding mat. Wind down with a yoga nidra session. And make sure to check out our sleep episodes for more support here.
We're big fans of our nighttime routine. Even just dimming the lights and putting our phones on night shift mode an hour or two before bed makes such a difference. Don't underestimate those little shifts. They matter so much more than you think.
If you want to go deeper into the science of sleep, Matthew Walker's book called Why We Sleep is a fantastic resource. He does such a great job explaining how each stage of sleep works and why it's so important for brain health. But the bottom line is that protecting your sleep is protecting your brain. And if you use a wearable that tracks your sleep stages, it's worth looking at not just your total hours, but whether you're getting a healthy amount of both deep and REM sleep.
Okay, now we're going to shift gears to mental stimulation. So here's the deal. Your brain is like a muscle. You use it or you lose it. That's where mental stimulation comes in.
Right. When you engage in mentally challenging activities, learning a new skill, doing puzzles, reading, playing an instrument, you build something called cognitive reserve. That's like a protective buffer that can help delay signs of dementia or cognitive decline later on.
And the key here is novelty. Try something new. Take a different route to work. Learn a few words in another language. Try a dance class. Or sign up for that pottery workshop you've been curious about.
Yes, even things like journaling, painting, or strategic games like Wordle or chess can light up your brain in powerful ways. Just because you're not in school anymore doesn't mean you stop learning.
And honestly, there's something so empowering about giving your brain something to chew on. Especially when you're in a season of life where things might feel a little repetitive or draining, it gives you your energy back.
Definitely. Okay, now let's talk about stress and connection and the relationship to brain health. Chronic stress and loneliness are major risk factors for cognitive decline. They shrink brain volume over time, especially in areas related to memory. I think a lot of us can relate to this one with COVID. When it comes to connection and stress, we saw such a huge increase in mental health issues with the onset of COVID and people being more isolated and having a lot more stress in their lives.
Oh, definitely. So regulating your nervous system isn't just a nice to have, it's a must. Whether it's a yoga nidra, meditation, time in nature, or just calling a friend, these things really matter. Because chronic stress doesn't just make you feel scattered or on edge, it literally shrinks areas of your brain responsible for memory and decision making.
Exactly, like the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. High levels of cortisol over time damage neurons and reduce those BDNF levels. So your brain becomes less resilient. But the good news is that rest and connection are powerful antidotes.
Right, like a 10-minute breathwork session or a nervous system reset. These can shift your whole state. And when you're with people who make you feel safe and seen, your brain lights up. Oxytocin gets released, and it actually protects the brain from the effects of stress.
Yes, this is why things like community, friendships, and laughter aren't just good for the soul, they're incredibly healing for the brain. So if you've been neglecting your social life because you're too busy or burnt out, think of it as medicine for your brain. When we look at the blue zones, the regions of the world where people live the longest and healthiest lives, community, laughter, and social connection are as important as what's on the plate. These cultures naturally build in daily moments of togetherness, whether it's sharing meals, walking with friends, or gathering for celebrations. Strong social bonds reduce stress hormones, boost those feel-good chemicals like oxytocin, and they help protect the brain from the effects of chronic stress and isolation, both of which are linked to faster cognitive decline. It's a great reminder that our friendships are a key ingredient for a healthy brain. Meditation is another powerful brain support tool. Studies show that regular meditation can increase gray matter volume in areas of the brain tied to memory, learning, and emotional regulation. It helps quiet the stress response, lower inflammation, and even improve attention and focus. Over time, meditation can strengthen the connections between different brain regions, supporting resilience as we age. And you don't have to sit for an hour in silence. Even just a few minutes of mindful breathing or guided meditation each day can create measurable benefits. All of this really comes back to your nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, sometimes called the rest and digest mode or the relaxation response. We've talked a lot about it in other episodes. It's the state where your body repairs, digests, and restores itself. When you spend too much time in the opposite state, the stress-driven fight or flight mode, it can raise inflammation, damage blood vessels, and impair memory over time. Practices that activate the parasympathetic system, like deep breathing, gentle movement, laughter, and connection, aren't just calming in the moment, they actively support the health and function of your brain for the long term.
Backing up to you talking about the blue zones. Now, I find that incredibly fascinating. And now, was there a Netflix documentary on it?
Yes, there was.
Okay.
And I did watch it.
I know you did, and we were talking about it, and I had seen something else on it, and it's just amazing. Like, it's incredible. And maybe that's something that we could cover in one of our future episodes. If you guys would find that interesting, let us know, because it's fascinating, kind of how they're living and their health. It's
absolutely,
it's wild.
Seeing these older people and how functional they still are. We see a lot of older people that are not functional, that are struggling to move around, and they lose their independence because they can't move and take care of themselves. So it is really fascinating and pretty cool to see these older people, and we're talking centenarians, people that are quite old and still getting around and participating in their community. And it's definitely fascinating.
Yeah.
Let us know if you're interested in covering that a little bit deeper.
Yeah, that would be fun. Okay, Nicole, let's answer some of the most common questions we hear from women about brain health in this season of life. Question number 1. Is brain fog normal, or is it something I should be worried about?
It's normal, but it's also a signal, a sign that your body needs more rest, better fuel, or less stress. It doesn't necessarily mean you're in decline. It means it's time to support your brain. And like we've talked about, it's never too early or too late. When you start to notice those cues, that is the best time. Well, really, now is the best time. Before you notice those cues is the best time. But if you're just starting to notice them and it worries you, just know that you can definitely support yourself. And it's not necessarily a sign that you're headed towards dementia or Alzheimer's.
Okay, question number 2. How can I tell the difference between normal forgetfulness and something more serious?
Everyone forgets where they put their keys sometimes. But if memory loss is interfering with daily life, like repeating stories, forgetting names of close family, or getting lost, that is worth getting checked. When it starts to impact your daily life, or it's getting more frequent to a point where you're concerned or family members are concerned, if someone has mentioned something to you, that is when it's time to, seek care.
Yeah, I've seen on more than one occasion, and I've been guilty of this too, but people going out in the parking lot of like the grocery store and just wandering around looking for their car. I had a really bad time when, like the worst time for me, it was a Walmart parking lot, and so that's quite large. And I went out.
And usually busy.
Yeah, it was very busy. And I went out a different door, did not even realize, I thought it was in a really stressful period of my life where I was overwhelmed. I had so much on my plate, and I literally had no recollection whatsoever of where I parked, and I was wandering those aisles. But I know why I did that. Again, I was burnt out. But, it just breaks my heart when I see older people in the parking lot trying to find their cars, and I'm just makes you so sad.
No, that happens to the best of us. And I've noticed it for myself. I don't do this very often, but if when you park, you're on the phone, right? And you walk into the store and you're still talking. I mean, it could be so easy to forget where you parked in that situation.
Definitely. Your mind's somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Question number 3. Can supplements help?
Yes, supplements can absolutely play a supportive role, but think of them as a part of a bigger plan, not a standalone cure. They work best alongside a brain healthy diet, regular movement, quality sleep, and stress management. So let's go over a few that can be helpful. Omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA from fish oil or algae, are one of the most studied for brain health. They help maintain cell membrane structure and may slow cognitive decline. B complex vitamins, particularly B12, B6, and folate, are key for brain energy metabolism and lowering homocysteine, an amino acid linked to higher dementia risk. One of my favorites, magnesium, supports healthy nerve signaling and can help with relaxation and sleep. Magnesium also supports better blood glucose regulation, and again, we've talked about how that is a factor for Alzheimer's and dementia. Turmeric or curcumin, especially in well-absorbed forms, has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects that may protect brain cells. Lion's mane mushroom has emerging research suggesting it may promote nerve growth factor, which supports neuron health and repair. Creatine. I think most people think of creatine for muscle building and, bodybuilders use it, but it's not just for muscles. It also is used by brain cells for quick energy, and some studies suggest benefits for memory and mental fatigue. Other antioxidants are also promising, things like vitamin C, vitamin E, coenzyme Q10, and polyphenols from green tea extract or resveratrol. These help counter oxidative stress, which is a big driver of brain aging.
Quick question. Is resveratrol in wine? Like red wine?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Yes, that is the component of red wine that's known for its health benefits. Yep. The key is that these supplements can help create a brain-friendly environment, reducing inflammation, supporting energy production, and protecting cells, but they won't replace the basics of nutrition, movement, stress, and sleep. You should always think of supplements as just that, a supplement to a healthy lifestyle, not a replacement for. I mean, I love using targeted supplements to support better health, but I think too often people think of them as magic pills that they can use in place of more difficult yet more impactful healthy lifestyle changes, like eating nourishing brain supportive foods and all of the things that we've talked about with a healthy lifestyle. Supplements are great, but they can never replace a healthy lifestyle.
Okay, question number 4. What's one thing I should focus on first?
Sleep. Hands down, bar none. If your sleep is off, your brain isn't detoxing, your hormones are disrupted, and everything else gets harder. Sleep literally impacts every other aspect and system of your body. So sleep has to be number one for better brain health.
I knew that was going to be your answer. So aside from lifestyle, are there any tools, technologies, or techniques that you can use to support your brain health?
There are some really interesting tools and therapies that can complement lifestyle habits and support long-term brain health. Some of them we have talked about in our biohacking episodes. PEMF, or pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, uses gentle electromagnetic waves to help improve circulation and cellular energy production. Some research suggests it may also support brain function and reduce inflammation. Red light therapy works on a similar principle of boosting cellular energy, specifically in the mitochondria, and it's been studied for its potential to improve cognitive performance and protect neurons. Sauna therapy is also pretty fascinating. Studies from Finland show that people who used a sauna 4 to 7 times a week had up to a 65% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's or dementia compared to those who only used it once a week, which I find amazing. A therapy that can reduce your risk by 65%. Like, that's pretty cool. It's thought to work by improving circulation, reducing inflammation, and enhancing cardiovascular health, which is tightly connected to brain health. And then we can't forget one of my favorites, Yoga Nidra, a guided meditation practice that helps shift your nervous system into deep rest. That state of deep relaxation can help reduce stress, improve sleep quality, and promote the parasympathetic activity that's so important for brain repair and regeneration. But again, these aren't magic pills either. They're powerful add-ons to the basics, like movement, nutrition, sleep, stress management, and social connection to help protect and optimize your brain.
Well, I love all those therapies. Those are things that I do for other reasons too. So it's nice that these therapies are so multifaceted.
Yeah, they're supporting so many different aspects of your health. You do one thing, red light, PEMF, whatever it is, and It's not just supporting your skin or your sleep. It's improving your brain health, improving bone density, lowering inflammation, acting as an antioxidant in your body. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, multitasking tools, love it.
Your favorite.
Yep, my favorite. Okay, so to wrap this up, we just want to say that midlife is your time to get proactive. Don't wait for a diagnosis. Start supporting your brain today with daily choices that protect your energy, memory, and mood.
We'll link some of our favorite brain supporting tools, resources, and supplements in the show notes. And don't forget to download our Daily Glow Rituals Guide. It includes simple, stress-reducing habits that support nervous system health and cognitive clarity.
And if this episode resonated with you, send it to a friend. Let's normalize this conversation. Brain health is women's health, and it starts now.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Midlife and Glowing. If you loved this episode, it would mean the world to us if you'd follow the show, leave us a review, or share it with a friend who's glowing through midlife right alongside you. Let's make it our best era yet. We'll see you next time.